You know, it's typical. I talk about the AFC South, and right after, Josh Allen signs a contract extension with the Jaguars, so I don't get a chance to discuss it. Typical. Just typical. Oh wait, I gotta talk about the NFC South now. What's going on, guys? Tech Support here, back to another video, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. The NFC South was the worst division in the NFL last year, and is it gonna be any better this year? Maybe? Depending on how things go? Let's just talk about these teams. You know, I've said this once, I'm going to say it again. Raheem Morris, you are playoffs or bust this year. It's no in between. There is no discussion. Playoffs or bust. This team is way too talented, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to not make the playoffs. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, very good offensive line. You add Kirk Cousins to this. If he's fully healthy, this is going to be a very good offense. I'll talk about the defense later. But you bring in Kirk Cousins, you trade Desmond Ridder for Rondale Moore, you bring in Darnell Mooney to replace Van Jefferson, you bring in Charlie Warner to replace Jonnu Smith, you bring in Ray McLeod, he's going to replace Cordell Patterson, Tony Hamilton, he's replacing Jeff Okudah. This team is ready to compete, especially in the NFC South, where, again, that was the worst division in football last year, and doesn't look like it might be any better this year. You have a chance to win the division. Go do it. Now, you do need to replace guys on defense. You haven't done that yet. Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree are gone. You need edge rushers on this team. Luckily for you, you have the 8th overall pick, and even if you trade down, you're probably going to take the first defensive player off the board in the draft because of how the quarterback situation is looking and just how deep this offensive class is. Just the entire offense in general. This is a great draft for you. Look, we talked about Turner from Alabama. He might be the first defensive player off the board. That's fine. Just make sure you're going defense. Definitely going to need some corners as well. I would definitely say that. Just make sure your defense is good to go. Would I also get another receiver? Maybe later in the draft, but definitely make sure your defense is good to go. Your defense just has to be in the middle of the pack. Your offense has the potential to be a top 10, maybe top 5 if things go your way, and you should be the favorite to win the NFC South. But that's on paper. Make sure that's also on the field. Moving on to Carolina. What else do we have to say about Carolina other than the 2023 season is over? Yeah, that was just a disaster for them. Bryce Young had no help, and he was just getting beat around all year long. Now, they're going to give him a chance. They brought in 3 offensive linemen, including Robert Hunt, on a $100 million contract. Did they have to overpay for some of these players? Yes, but when you have a new head coach, an owner in David Temper who, 1, is not patient, and 2, likes to control everything, you're going to have to overpay a little bit. They brought in Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh to be the number 1 guy, but I would also say, Carolina, look to take a receiver early in this draft. You're going to need all the help you can get for your quarterback, and just hope Ike Ekwonu can show something in year 3. A'Shawn Robinson's also been brought in. Same thing with Jadeveon Clowney. He came home. Josie Jewell for the defense. DJ Warner for the defense. Dane Jackson. They also lost a few guys, but it's not really that big of a loss. They are trying to clean house a little bit. Year 2, Gross Meadows, Shaquille Griffin, Jeremy Chin, Von Bell, CJ Henderson, DJ Chalk. Those are guys that are replaceable. And with Carolina, they just need help everywhere. You know, it's just, you need help everywhere in the draft. Don't be surprised they try to trade back into the first round. Maybe they go ahead of the Chiefs if there was a wide receiver that they like and they think the Chiefs might want to get. Don't be surprised if that happens. But again, with Carolina, they just need help everywhere. But the first thing is you have to make sure Bryce Young has a chance to succeed this year. You have to make sure of that. There's no other way around it. If Bryce Young's going to succeed, you need to put the team around him. They help rebuild the offensive line. Again, Ike Ekwonu, you're hoping he's going to be your left tackle. You bring in 2 guards, you bring in another tackle. Okay. Hopefully, they get it done. It seems like every year we go through the same thing with New Orleans. They're in salary cap hell. They get out of it. They extend some players, cut some players, sign some players, and now you're wondering, is this team really any better than what they were last year? Answer, probably not. Let's talk about what they did. Chase Young came on a 1-year, $14 million deal. Okay. Yeah, Chase Young has not lived up to the expectation of being the number 2 overall pick. However, he did have an injury that kind of held him back a little bit. Now, he gets a chance to finally show that he can be the dominant player that he was drafted to be. Hey, we've seen it work out before. Maybe it works out with Young. They also bring in Cedric Wilson, Willie Gay, and Nathan Peterman to be the backup to Derek Carr. Yeah, even I was shocked Nathan Peterman is still in this league. But they did lose some players as well. Michael Thomas and Andrews Peter gone. Same thing with Malcolm Roach, Jameis Winston, Lonnie Johnson, PJ Mustafa, Marcus May, and Jimmy Graham. And again, can this team really compete for the NFC South title? Well, again, as it looks, it's still the worst division in football, so probably, but more than likely the same thing that happened last year might happen this year as well. I mean, they gave the Buccaneers a good run for the money, but it was kind of too little too late at that point. And I just don't know with this team what the Saints can really do. I mean, again, they've been in salary cap hell for the longest time, just keep moving things back, moving things back, moving things back. I really don't know how much longer they can continue to do that. And I don't know what to do about guys right now. I mean, how much longer does Derek Carr have? How long are you going to keep Alvin Kamara? What is really next with this Saints team that still has some young talent? However, there's just too many questions with this team. I don't know where they go in the draft. I honestly cannot tell you. It's probably just best player available with them. Could they go quarterback of the future? I just don't know. Probably not, but, you know, I've seen stranger things happen in the draft, so anything goes with the Saints right now. I'm just going to move on to the Buccaneers. If you want to talk about a team that did a great job during free agency, re-signing their key guys, it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's back. After what he did, got them to the playoffs, got them a playoff win, and nearly got them a win against the Lions. That was really neck and neck with those two teams. So he earned that contract extension. That was a great job by him. He was left to die by Cleveland, but he came back with a vengeance last year with the Buccaneers. So happy for him. Mike Evans and Levante David are also back. Those guys have been lifelong Bucs. I think they have earned the right to retire as a Buccaneer. I mean, if those two had left, I don't know how it would have looked for them in another team's uniform. And then Antoine Winfield, they franchised him, but it looks like they're going to be able to get a long-term deal done before the deadline. It looks like it's a matter of when and not if. And in terms of the free agency signings, they brought in Jordan Whitehead, Randy Gregory, Ben Breedenson. Sorry if I said that wrong. Now, in terms of losses, they did lose a few guys. Carlton Davis is gone. He was traded to the Lions. Shaquille Barrett is gone. Devin White, William Golston, and Russell Gage were cut. So they did lose some players. However, I still expect this to be Falcons versus Bucks for the division. In terms of the draft, I could see going wide receiver to get a guy to learn from Mike Evans, take over that number 1 spot when Mike Evans retires or is aged out of the number 1 receiver role. Could see that. Could see corner after losing Carlton Davis. Could see edge rusher. Really, a lot of different ways the Bucs could go in the draft. I mean, they could just take best player available. But again, I think they have the team to compete for a playoff spot, especially in the NFC South. They're not expected to do much, and I'm talking about the division in general. So, yeah, Falcons versus Bucs, I would say, is what this division is going to come down to. And I kind of hope in Week 18 we do get those two battling for the division. That would be so cool to see those two face off against each other for the division crown. Now, I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know what you guys think. But anyway, that is my thought on the NFC South. Again, it's expected to be the worst division in the NFL in 2024. However, with the Falcons and the Bucs, that could be pretty entertaining to see who comes out on top. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Next up is the AFC West. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.